Yo, peace was good. Welcome to my CD collection. This is part 133. I just want to give a disclaimer. So this video is gonna be mostly R&B and dancehall. And you got like one hip hop album. So I just want to give a disclaimer. Because I just want to show you guys like and as I've done in the past, show you guys like my versatility when it comes to my CD collection. I'm not just hip hop, although I'm a hip hop based YouTube channel, but I don't just listen to hip hop. I listen to whole types of music, and that's why if you notice, like I never put hip hop CD collection. I always put like my CD collection because it's kind of like like the element of surprise, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that out there. All right. So and I want to appreciate everybody with their support over the years. I really appreciate that. But I do promise the next couple of CD collections. I got a bunch of CDs I bought over the past month or two that I want to show. I definitely want to show you guys that, but I promise that's gonna be all hip hop, so don't worry. You know what I mean? I caught the bug. I kind of stopped buying CDs for a while because honestly I lost. I'm losing room. You know what I mean? So and eventually I'm gonna have to buy another shelf. You know what I mean? So that's how much CDs I got. And I got like cabinets of CDs, and not cabinets, like containers, if you excuse me. So, but enough of the banter, enough of the talk. Let's get into these CDs here, alright? First CD I want to show you guys is Prince with Graffiti Bridge, released in 1990. This is, I believe, is his 12th album. It's also the soundtrack to the movie. As the same movie, Graffiti Bridge soundtrack, alright? So, the story of this album is that the album originally was supposed to come out, or the concept came about around 87. You know what I mean? The thing was that Prince, he has a vault. He has vaults of albums and songs and things of that nature. Because around that time, he was supposed to come like around 86. Well, because 86 is when the Revolution had broken up as a group. They just kind of parted ways of, Prince and the Revolution kind of went, astray. You know what I mean? They kind of did their own thing. And Prince was pretty much like his one-man army. You know what I mean? And so a lot of these songs are songs that were recorded, between like the early 80s up to like, around this time. So you get some like stuff in the early 80s, mid 80s, and then up to 90, and so you'll have some songs that were recorded, for like a couple of albums, like Dream Factory, Crystal Ball, which those albums never came out. Those are shelved, that kind of thing, and then eventually came out with Sign of the Times, and then the Black Album was supposed to come out, but there's like mad bootlegs of that album and things like that, so it's crazy. So you're pretty much getting songs from that time period on this album, and it's like more updated and that kind of thing. Some were touched, some were like updated and things of that nature. The singles of the album is Thieves in the Temple, fucking love that song. Round and Round, New Power Generation was pretty dope, and Can't Stop This Feeling I Got. Alright, so standout tracks for me, New Power Generation was the name of his band, his new band at the time. Because like I said, the Revolution had broken up in 86, and then he got with the New Power Generation. So New Power Generation, Release It was pretty dope. We Can Funk, which is actually called We Can Fuck, which was supposed to be recorded for the Purple Rain soundtrack or album, but it didn't make the final cut, but it is on the Super Deluxe edition, so definitely check that out. That was pretty dope. Joint Repetition was pretty dope. What's another dope song? Thieves in the Temple, fucking love that song. Melody Cool, Still Will Stand All Time, and those are the songs I really like. The thing with this album, like I said, like he never makes the same album twice. Like this album definitely has like a more like a New Jack Swing kind of feel to it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, very very it's a decent album. It's not one of his best, but it's Prince, you know what I mean? He never makes the same album twice. Like, if you expecting another Purple Rain or Sign of the Times, you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna get different. Although this album does have like elements of Sign of the Times, but yeah, decent album. Not my favorite, but it's okay. Alright, Graffiti Bridge by Prince. This was released in 1990. God bless the dead, man. Next album, Bell Biv and Devoe, Hootie Mack, released in 1993. You guys should know Bell Biv DeVoe at one point was part of the New Edition. Michael Bell, forgot the other dude's name, and I forgot their first names, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, and Ronnie DeVoe. So those are the people. Yeah, so this came out in 93, like I said before. A lot of people love the Poison album. It's like what made them superstars. This album, not so much. It's a completely different sound from their first album, obviously, because the first album came out, I think, like 88 or 90, something like that. But it definitely had that late 80s sound to it. This album was more, early 90s. And the thing with this album has like a more hip hop sound to it, influence to it, as far as the production. And I don't know if that kind of turned people off, because people wanted another Poison, but they didn't even get that with this album. There are, I believe, 2 singles of the album. I believe are Above the Rim, and I believe Show Me the Way. No, Something in Your Eyes. Those are the 2 singles off the album. Yeah. So standout tracks for me is Lovely, excuse me, that was pretty cool. The self-titled track, Hootie Mack, Front to Back, Show Me the Way, The Situation, and Please Come Back. Those are the only songs I like off this album. Again, a decent album, not their best, you know what I mean? But then again, this is like the last time they dropped as a group, I believe. I can see this being an underrated album, but it's cool for what it is. It's not a memorable album, but it got some decent cuts on it. You know what I mean? Definitely give it a chance. Let me know what you guys think about this album. But yeah, Bell Biv and DeVoe, Hootie Mack, released in 1993. All right, next album. Fucking 5-minute classic on it right here, man. D'Angelo with his second album, Voodoo, released in 2000. All right, 2000. Voodoo, man. Can I say about this album, man? It's a dope album. Very eclectic. You know what I mean? Very, D'Angelo's that nigga, man. You know what I mean? So the story with this album was that after he dropped Brown Sugar, enjoying the success of the album, touring and things like that, he went through what you would call writer's block. So he couldn't think of songs to make, anything like that. So what he would do is that he would do like cover songs for, people and things like that, cover songs and things like that. So that's how he's able to make by and get by and things like that. And then what inspired him to write this album, to make the album, was the birth of his child, which he had with Angie Stone. Yes, Angie Stone, the singer. That was his girl at the time. They had a kid together and that kind of thing. Because of that, that inspired him to make this album. So, and then all the songs started flowing, that kind of thing. The singles off this album are Devil's Pie, Left and Right with Method Man and Redman. That song was big back in the day. The Untitled, everybody knows that song. Excuse me, Untitled. Set It On, and Feel Like Making Love. For me, standout tracks for me are Player, Devil's Pie. Funny story with that song, Devil's Pie. So originally that song was made for Cannabis, but due to Cannabis was ego And from what I understand, and like the beat and things like that, I guess he wasn't really feeling the beat, so he kind of scrapped the song, that kind of thing. And then D'Angelo took the song, and then it eventually made for the Belly soundtrack. That's why if you notice, like, it's on the album, because the song was recorded like 97, 98, that kind of thing. So yeah. And yeah, Devil's Pie, fucking classic song right there. The line was pretty dope. Send It On was pretty dope. Chicken Grease was dope. Let me see what's Chicken Grease. The Root. Spanish Joint. Fucking love that joint. That's probably my favorite song of the album, Spanish Joint. Yo, you guys should check out the acoustic version of Spanish Joint. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. Feel Like Making Love was pretty dope. Great Day in the Morning was pretty dope. / Booty. The untitled song, How Does It Feel? I'm a little burnt off this song. It's a cool song, but it's not. It's a good song, but it's not. It's a little overhyped in my opinion. I'm gonna be real with you. But I do like this song. Don't get me wrong. And Africa. Yeah, Africa. Those are the songs for me that I really enjoyed, man. And yeah, man. Yeah, it's a really good album. Like I said before. I highly enjoyed the album, man, and yeah, it's definitely a good album. I definitely need to get his next album, Messiah. Definitely get my hands on that. But yeah, this is Voodoo by D'Angelo, released in 2000. I always keep saying 1990. And then on the follow up, we got Erykah Badu, her second album, Mama's Gun, released in 2000, same year as D'Angelo. It's Voodoo, because the thing with this album is that a lot of people compared this album to the Voodoo album. Like they kind of go parallel together. Like a lot of people pretty much put this album, Voodoo, and Common's Like Water for Chocolate as like the same vein, that kind of thing. They like to compare those albums and things like that. But yeah, this is the second album. This album came out 3 years after Baduism was a classic album. There's 3 singles of the album. The singles are Bag Lady, Didn't You Know, and Clever. Those are the singles of the album. And what's funny about this album is that she has a song called Green Eyes, which she talks about the breakup of Andre 3000, aka 3 Stacks of Outkast, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, standout tracks for me for this album are Didn't You Know, fucking love that song, love the video for it. So, My Life, Clever, Kiss Me On My Neck, 82,000, Orange Moon, Bag Lady. It was another dope song. Times of Wasting. Those are the standout tracks for me. Underrated album, and this album, for me, at least for me. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, like I was saying before, usually this album is a little hard to find, at least where I live at, you know what I mean? Because anytime I go to like, the CD store, or the FYE or any other store, you don't really see this album very often. You mostly see like Erykah the Baduism album. You see those a lot. Like you'll find that album like that, you know what I mean? Whatchamacallit? In her other albums and things like that, but this album you rarely see. So when I saw it, I definitely had to pick it up. Wasn't as successful as Baduism, but it's a decent album, man. It's like definitely a dope album. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's just it was a different approach for Erykah Badu. You know what I mean? But it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad album, but it's definitely more personal compared to the first album. I'm more of a fan of Baduism, me personally, but it's a pretty good album. But yeah, Mama's Gun by Erykah Badu, released in 2000. Next album, Alicia Keys with songs in A minor, released in 2001. You guys should know who Erykah Badu is. I showed you guys her second album. I think it was called The Diary of Alicia Keys. That came out in 2003. It's another good album. This album is fire. So the story with this album is that at the time, I think she was signed to, I forgot the record label she was signed to at the time. I think she was signed under, I think, Arista Records, I believe. I'm not sure. And, you know, she signed the contract, I think, back in like 96, 97. And, you know, she started recording the album and in 98. But then I think they shelved the album or something like that. Or she couldn't make the album. And so, like, you know, at the time she was broke. You know what I mean? People just, at the time, they didn't really understand her vision. Like, because what happened was, like, she would go, like, they would have her go to a studio, and she would want, like, the record label would want her to just get with any producer or whatever and just sing. Just go in the booth and sing. And she wasn't really feeling that. She was like, nah, like, I gotta have control of my music. She had to have creative control. They weren't really letting her have creative control. So that kind of bothered her, that kind of thing. And then so, like, she was depressed and things like that. She was struggling, she was not poor, but she was struggling, just like everybody else here in this fucking inflation, this recession that we're in right now. And, because of what she was going through, it kind of made her, like, strong. I mean, it kind of made her, like, inspired her to make the songs and things like that, things of that nature. And then, yeah, man, and she ended up, making this album. And the original title of the album was actually called, I think it was called Soul Songs in A minor. But she changed it, due to, she didn't want to be, like, pigeonholed. She's just a black artist, you know what I mean? So, which is smart, you know what I mean? So, so she just kept it to songs in A minor. So, I thought that was pretty cool. All right. The singles off this album are Fallen. That song was big back in the day. A Woman's Worth, How Come You Don't Call Me, and Girlfriend. Those are the singles of the album. Standout tracks for me, Girlfriend, that shit goes hard. It actually uses the same sample as Broken Zoo and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Troubles was pretty good. Rock With You, A Woman's Worth, Jane Doe, that was pretty good. Goodbye, The Life, yeah, pretty dope songs, man. And what I like about this album definitely has like a hip hop feel to it, which I thought was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Definitely one of her best albums. You know what I mean? And yo, you guys should check out the Fallen remix with Rampage, The Last Boy Scout, and Busta Rhymes. Fire. It uses the same sample as Wild for the Night by Rampage. Fire. I remember that shit was big back in the day, like, Hot 97 and that kind of stuff. But yeah, Alicia Keys with songs in A minor, released in 2001. Definitely check this album out. Very dope. Alicia Keys before she was thick. Oh man, it's funny. Alright. Next album. Ludacris with his I think this is his 5th album. Or 6th album, one of them. Released Therapy, released in 2006. This album is definitely different from Ludacris's earlier stuff. This album has like a more mature sound to it, you know what I mean? He I guess in interviews he was saying that, he wanted to change his whole look. So he cut off the braids, you know what I mean? Cut off the, the beard, the sideburns that he had at the time, you know what I mean? So got rid of that and just, had a whole neat, clean look, you know what I mean? The singles off this album are Moneymaker, Grew Up a Screw Up, Runaway Love, and Girls Gone Wild and Slap. Those are the singles of the album. Standout tracks for me are Girls Gone Wild, that shit goes hard. I like the beat for that. Ultimate Satisfaction, Mouths to Feed, Tell Like It Is, Slap, fucking love that. I love the video for that too. Those are the singles of the album. I mean, those are songs that I like. This album, like I said, he's like more like mature. It's kind of like, you know, more conscious in the sense, like telling you like, yo, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. He talks about, you know, you should have your own business, you know, spend money yourself so you can make your own checks instead of, you know, relying on somebody to give you a check. You know what I mean? You know, he talks about stuff like that on this album. It's definitely different than what we're known for, what we know Ludacris for, where, you know, he's more perverted, you know, that kind of thing. He's all about the women, chasing pussy, things like that, you know, lyrical, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. This sound, you didn't really get that. So, yeah, it's a different sound for Ludacris. It's like more commercial, but like more mature, if that makes sense. Although he did have that commercial sound, but but it was more hip hop. And another thing with this album's not as sample based as it was as his earlier stuff. His earlier stuff is like more sample based, but you know, with the, you know, the ATL, you know, vibe to it, you know, if that makes sense. This is like more organic. He uses like more synths and you know, things like that. So but yeah, it's a decent album. Not his best, but you know, it's a cool album to check out. But yeah, I'm obviously I'm more of a fan of his early albums, like, you know, Back for the First Time. You know, Word of Mouth, which is my favorite album from him. Chicken and Biz, my second favorite. I need to get Red Light District. I don't have that. I don't think I have that album. I think I do. I don't remember. No, I don't have that. I need to get my hands on that. But yeah, Ludacris with Release Therapy, released in 2006. Now we're gonna get into the dancehall vibe of things, man. Lucky Dube, man, with Prisoner, released in 1990. Man, this album is fucking dope, man. Yeah, Lucky Dube, he's from South Africa. Oops. Oh, can't play that. Yeah. Lucky Dube with Prisoner, released in 1990, like I said before. Singer from reggae singer. Yeah, reggae singer from South Africa. You know what I mean? He definitely had, you know, a lot of people compared him to like Bob Marley. You know what I mean? He was like the second coming of like Bob Marley, that kind of thing. But yeah, really dope singer, man. Really dope. Prisoner was like the single of the album. Dope video too. Very dope. Standout tracks for me, Prisoner, Don't Cry, Dracula, and Remember Me. Those to me are the standout tracks for me, man. The whole album is dope, but those are like the standout tracks for me. Lucky Dube, I got introduced to Lucky Dube back in the day, man. Rest in peace to my Uncle Orlando, who's in heaven. You know, he was he's the one that got me to dancehall reggae, and he used to always play Lucky Dube, man, and very dope, and I really enjoyed his music. So the story of Lucky Dube, man, like, you know, when he first started, he made him, it was a style of music that was popular in South Africa. I forgot the name of it, but it was like, it kind of sounded like compa for my Zoes out there. Kind of sounds like a mixture of that with like the African feel to it. But then he started getting into reggae back in like the mid 80s and stuff like that. And like I said, he was very popular in like mostly like in Europe, you know, Africa obviously, and things like that. I think Asia too. But in 2007, he was on his way to pick up his kids to go to school, and there was two guys robbed him and killed him in front of his kids, and which is unfortunate. And you know, it was a big loss for the reggae world, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah. And it's crazy. This was like 2007 when he died. I think they eventually found the killers and things like that. But yeah, Lucky Dube with Prisoner, released in 1990. Next album, Garnet Silk with It's Growing, released in 1992. This is his debut album. Garnet Silk, man. This dude right here, again, another one that was like very promising. Again, another reincarnation. Like a lot of people like to compare him, like, you know, like to compare to Bob Marley. Like he was like another one that was like a second coming to Bob Marley. You know, just because of his wisdom, his you know, his knowledge and things like that, his wisdom and interviews that he did and the music, things like that, man. Standout tracks for me, man, it's growing, commitment, bless me, I am vexed, disadvantage, and a friend. Those are the standout tracks for me. So the story with Garnet Silk, man, is that how he died was kind of fucked up, man. So what happened was that he I think his house got home invaded, like, you know, not with him in it, but he got robbed, you know, somebody robbed his house. So, you know, he didn't know how to use a gun. So one day he went to go visit his mom, God bless the dead, and, you know, like, he got some guns, but he didn't know how to use a gun. So he was asking his friends to show him how to use a gun. So his friend was showing him how to use a gun, whatever the case may be. The gun actually fired accidentally. It was accidentally shot the gun. It hit a propane tank, which exploded. His mom got caught in the fire. And then so what any kid or son would do, you're gonna go try to save your mom. Fortunately, both Garnet Silk and his mom died in the fire. And yeah, so that was a big loss for Jamaica and the reggae world as well, man. And but yeah, like his legacy definitely goes on, man. Like I said, it was like a lot of people compared it to, like, you know, Bob Marley, because, like, just like how his aura and things like that. But yeah, man, Garnet Silk, man, I grew up in his music, you know, growing in the 90s and things like that. I mean, I obviously I didn't know who he was, but, like, his music was definitely big in New York, you know what I mean? So especially in Jamaica, Queens, Brooklyn, all that shit, you know what I mean? And then it's so bad, like, you know, it's like you had a lot of artists doing you know, tribute songs for him and tribute albums with about Garnet Silk. So I thought it was pretty cool, man. But yeah, Garnet Silk with It's Growing, released in 1992. Rest in peace. Another album by Garnet Silk, Silky Mood. This was released in 1995. This is like a posthumous album. You know what I mean? He has a whole bunch of albums that's posthumous. Or it's just songs that, you know, he recorded that, you know, like, you know, that never saw the light of day. So they just put out mad albums. He must have recorded a lot of songs, cause yeah. And it's another album. Like I said, I don't know what number album this is. I saw it, I just had to pick it up. Like I said, it came out in 95. Standout tracks for me are Let Them Talk, So Divine, You're Gonna Need Love, Let It Flow, and Stacy. Those are the standout tracks for me, man. Very, very dope. Like, anytime I hear his music, it's very nostalgic to me. Like I said, it just brings me back to, like, the early 90s, you know. It has, like, that early 90s sound, you know what I mean, as far as, like, dancehall. But yeah, Garnet Silk with Silky Mood, released in 1995. God bless the dead. Next album, still in Jamaica. So this is the last two albums. We got Beenie Man with Defend It. This is his third album. This was released in 1994. This is before he was, you know, the Beenie Man that we know, you know, here in the States. But in Jamaica, this is like when he started getting his name out and things like that, things of that nature. He wasn't the superstar that, you know, we know him now. Although in Jamaica, around this time, you know, he was really popular, especially with his beef with you know, Bounty Killer at the time and things like that. So their beef goes back, like, as far as like 93, 94. So at this time, you know, he was getting popular too. Bounty Killer as well, which I believe at the time, I think it came out an album called Guns Out, which was like a collab album between him and Bounty Killer, called Guns Out. Like I said before, in like 94, it's like a battle album and stuff like that. So standout tracks for me are Wicked Man, No Matter the Money, Bomb and Dynamite, Life is Good, Defend It, self-titled track, God Make Everything. Let's see what else. Child Abuse was pretty good. Accident a Cause. Let's see what else. Say the Word. Not Take It. Yeah, From You Are the Wife. From You Are the Wife. Yeah, so yeah, dope album. Mack gritty. This is gritty Beanie Man before he cleaned up his sound. This is like really gutter, the streets of Kingston, you know what I mean? Like that gutter shit, you know what I mean? They get on this album, man. Niggas just like on some fly shit, you know what I mean? But this is like really, this album's really dirty, man, production wise, man. I really love that. I love early Beanie Man, like his stuff, and Bounty Killer too. So yeah, so this is not the album, like, to me, the album that really got him noticed, like, worldwide was the album Blessed, which I do have. That's another dope album. But this is definitely an underrated album. And then he also dropped another album the same year called This For Una For Here, which I need to get my hands on. I'll get it online, but I found this in the stores, so, you know, so I had to get that. So yeah, Beanie Man with Defended, released in 1994. And last but not least, we got, hold on, give me 1 second. All right. Then we got Banton with our Friends for Life, released in 2003. Fucking love this album. Love this album, man. Really dope album, you know what I mean? It's like, this album is so hard. This album came out 3 years after his album Unchained Spirits that came out in 2000, which wasn't like his most successful album. It wasn't his best album. It was a decent album, but excuse me, sorry. But this is like, to me, I would consider it to be like a breakthrough, like his comeback album, if you will, man. The singles this album is known for is Paid Not Played. Fucking love that song. I believe I want to say What Am I Gonna Do was a single too, because there's a video for that too as well. But yeah, Paid Not Played being the biggest single of the album. But I fucking love this album. And what I like about this album is that this album definitely has like the sound of his old stuff, like from the early 90s, like, you know, from like Mr. Mansion, Voice of Jamaica, Till Shiloh, like that. If you like that era of Buju Banton, then you'll definitely enjoy this album. Definitely. But yeah, standout tracks for me are Paid Not Played, Teaser featuring Bounty Killer, love Bounty Killer, Maybe We Are, that shit is dope, Mama Africa, Get It On, featuring Wayne Wonder, Friends for Life, fucking love that song, Friends for Life, that shit goes hard. Good Times, featuring Beres Hammond, love Beres Hammond, and Fat Joe, Feeling Groovy, fucking love that song. Spectacular, love that joint. Spectacular definitely sound like like something that could have been recorded around like 93, 94. That has that vibe. And Mr. 9, another joint that sound like from like the early 90s, that gutter, grimy Voice of Jamaica, Buju Banton, that era. Mr. Mention, like when he was on his Rude Boy shit at that time, man. But now, you know, he's Rasta, and he's out of prison. He's been out. This is like 3 years ago he got out, I think 2018 or something like that. So definitely one of his best albums in my opinion. Love this album. Definitely need to get more Buju Banton albums. I do have Till Shiloh, I have Voice of Jamaica, I have Mr. Mention. I need to get Inner Heights. I need to get that. That's another good album. Yeah, but yeah, Buju Banton with Friends for Life, released in 2003. Dope shit. That's it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Alright? Stay tuned for more. I promise, like I said, the next video is gonna be more hip hop. Alright? So definitely stay tuned. Alright? Peace!